Hello, everyone. I am Mark,
And I'm Rob.
and you're listening to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown. And just want to remind you to like and subscribe and make comments for us and tell your family and friends. Today, we're going to talk about the NFL draft. I will be quite honest with you. Neither one of us are overly excited about mock drafts because just our feeling is let's just wait to see what happens. There's so much speculation. Unless you have the number one pick, top five picks, it's
Yeah, it's like
whatever.
who cares?
But we will cover it because all we cover is basketball and football is my favorite sport. So it isn't like I don't like football. I do. I just kind of like just wait to what happens. And um, also, I think that uh, the grades they give grades to people after the draft, which is the most illogical thing in the world because you can't grade it until 10 years from now.
Plus,
So because you have
yeah,
no idea how.
you don't know what. Yeah, you don't know what. How can you grade somebody? It's like your teacher. You walk into class, walk into math class, and they look at you like, "Oh, you're definitely a D+ student."
Now, wait, can I take the test first? Can I see what the results are? Can I
No,
see what
I
the
see. I
consequences
see.
are of what I did?
I see you as a D+ student, Mark. Sorry, even though you got A's during math, but
So that's why I don't get too excited over that. But at the same time, it can make a big difference if you draft well. And sometimes there's a major head scratchers by what people do, and they get criticized. And a lot of times, the criticism is right. Or sometimes people look like, well, they just seem to really hit all the buttons, and they did do a great job. And people say they did a good job, and it turns out they're right. They did a good
well, the
great
best person is, of course,
but
is Mel Kiper. He's been around for like 2,000 years. But he,
right.
he reminds me of the weatherman. I mean, you can just sit there and say, "Oh, today it's going to be sunny," and then we're
I don't
expecting a
remember him saying
storm.
Patrick Holmes was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time,
Yeah,
and he
there's
might
a
turn
lot,
out to be that way.
I don't
He
remember
was
him
rated
saying,
third according to him, so whatever. So
Tom Brady. So I don't remember
right.
him
So
saying anything about Tom Brady.
it's just a guess how good someone's going to be, and how they transfer to the pros. Um, you know, is always unclear. Quarterbacks are busts half the time, even in the first round. So it's a guess. So no matter how much they interview people, they go to the combine, and they also put them on. I guess they do like they watch them throw around the field. All sorts. All sorts
With no pressure on him or game situation like
right.
that.
Yes. Oh, his passing test was great. I go, oh, all right. Did
Okay, that's great.
was Lawrence Taylor in his face when he did when he
Yeah,
threw it?
exactly.
All right. If you want to go way back, was he worried about Dick Butkus coming through the line and crushing him? Uh, was there a
Might be.
cornerback there? When cornerback there, that, like Deion Sanders, ready to intercept passes and throw them perfectly?
Right, exactly.
So, but anyways, the quarterbacks get drafted high because anybody knows anything about football, how important they are to the success. So this year it's even more so than normal. So I think it's important to point that out because I'm looking at I'm looking at the CBS one mock draft, and Caleb Williams is going first, Drake May second, Jaden Daniels. They're all quarterbacks. Then Marvin Harrison fourth, and then JJ McCartney fifth. So four of the first five are going to be quarterbacks according to this mock draft.
Mm.
And then in the one for the NFL.com. Sorry, that was the NFL one. So in the CBS one, it's the same thing. The four of the first five picks are going to be quarterbacks. So they just changed the order between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. They have them
Right.
second instead of third. So I don't know who's going to go first. I know that people are really high on Caleb Williams, but his junior year was better than his senior year. Now the team's defense is awful, but it was awful his junior year too. But he threw less. But be that as may, he's both a talented thrower and a runner. There was some concern by some people, more on the far right people who did some videos on YouTube, because he was photographed in a dress, and then he was photographed with painted nails and a phone that they called pink, which to me looked it was halfway in between pink and violet.
Yeah,
But
it was kind of in between. Yeah.
and though they say, well, this is a macho sport and he's the team leader, how will that play out in the locker room or on the field as a leader because of these feminine aspects that
Yeah.
I said, I have no idea. I'd have to interview a bunch of football players.
Right.
So it's pure speculation. I spoke to someone, like we're old school. I spoke to someone. I can understand that argument to a point. So I asked this guy at a bar just the other day, 30 years old. I said, "What do you think about this? Jaden Williams, can't be a leader in the locker room because he's showing these feminine aspects. He guys, if he can play, who gives a crap? That's not going to make any difference." I said, "Okay, well, I'd like to talk to some NFL players, between the ages of 22 and 40, and how they feel before because I don't have a strong opinion on it either way." Everyone seems to think he's the best quarterback. I think he might be a little overrated, but we'll see. Chicago needs a quarterback, and they haven't had a good quarterback since like 1985. So Jim McMahon was their last really good quarterback, and then he got injured, so they didn't even have him for a long time. I think he would have had a much more. He could have had a better career.
Yeah,
and they gave him a Super Bowl, but that was it. So, do you have any feelings on those 4 quarterbacks?
It's probably right. The glamour thing. And they'll probably draft those. But I mean, I was taught that if you're drafting, that's why. I mean, the Browns are going to be drafting. Again, they don't have a first round draft choice. But I mean, I almost think that's a good advantage for a team because now you can you really have to focus and evaluate what your needs are and the needs of your team. Are you just drafting because people are saying, "Oh, well, he's a quarterback, I got to draft him," or they draft him because they really do need this person on their team? So it's sometimes a little misguided. It's like, well, first round draft, yay, but it isn't that great.
Right. So then the first non-quarterback is Marvin Harrison, who some people think is junior, obviously, who some people think is the most talented person in the draft.
I think so. I've seen him play. He's good.
We'll see if that turns out to be true. I can't imagine him being a bust given just the talent that he has.
No, he's very deep. He looks like his father, maybe even a little better than his father.
So I'm looking forward to watching him play. I loved his father. His father was so consistent. He had such great hands. He had a great quarterback throwing to him, but either way. So for background, Rob's favorite team is the Cleveland Browns. And if you notice another video, when we grew up in Rochester, New York, the Cleveland Browns were on TV every week. That's why my dad liked them, because Rochester, New York, even though it's in New York, is 6.5 hours away from New York and only 4 hours away from Cleveland. So when they do it, they draw a circle and everybody's closest to that. You get that game every week. So I don't know if that influenced why that's one of your favorite teams because they're on TV every week or not.
That and also, like I said, Jim Brown, and he went to Syracuse, and Syracuse was the only major college near us. So
right,
that's those are the 2 reasons.
Okay, all right. So I became a Packers fan when I was 3 years old. I liked Paul Hornung and the fact the Packers were winning. I was 62. I was 3, and then so I just liked them. I admit, it's probably because they were winning. But they were also an exciting team. And then Buffalo was an hour away from Rochester. So I liked the Bills when they drafted OJ, who, like I said, was a great guy until he killed 2 people and got away with it. And then I moved to Philadelphia 30 years ago. So I had an AFC, NFC team, which I have no problems with. I think it's great to have an AFC, NFC team. Your favorite team winning are 1 out of 30 or 1 out of 32, depending on the sport. Right. It doubles your chances.
Yeah, really, exactly.
And they don't conflict because they only play if they meet the Super Bowl. Well, then I moved to Philadelphia. So now I'm a secondary Eagles fan because I believe in rooting for the teams in your city that you live in, unless the organization is a piece of crap. And I can't say that about the Eagles organization. So I root for them some also, as long as they don't play the Packers or the Bills.
Well, I was just the opposite. I lived in San Francisco for 13 years, and I was not a 49er fan. I called them the 40-winers, and they were good back then.
Yeah, they've been good for a long time, consistently, late 60s.
When I was there, they were very good. They won a Super Bowl. And then I lucked out, and I got to actually even go to the NFC Finals playoffs against the Cowboys. One of my coworkers.
By the way, in Philadelphia, they call them the Cowgirls. Just so you know, I used to resort to.
Well, I call them the Plowboys. So
the Plowboys.
So one of my coworkers, he knew I was always ragging on the 49ers, and he'd be like, "Okay, I have a playoff ticket. The only way you can go is if you root for the 49ers." I go, "Who are they playing?" I go, "The Cowboys." I go, "Oh, no problem."
So I'm going to talk about the Packers first, just because I'm a Packers fan, and the Packers are a popular team, so people would like to hear about them. The first round pick for them in this one mock draft from CBS Sports is going to be a cornerback, which is always good nowadays in this pass-happy NFL. His name is Kool-Aid McKinstry. I remember him.
Great name. What a great name.
Who's gives him like good size and speed. He's 6'1" and 195 pounds, and he's coming out as a junior, so he's coming out early. But that's one product. The other one, an NFL said an offensive lineman, which I don't think is going to happen because they had by the end of the year, their offensive line really gelled. So if you're a Packers fan, you know that. So I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to go with the cornerback if more likely, but we have to see what's available at the time. You never know who's going to, someone might draft him before that gets to the Packers. So I don't think it's going to take place. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they did lose David Bakhtiari. I can't pronounce his name. He's like a great left tackle, but he's been injured off and on for like a half a dozen years. So they finally released him. But their offensive line didn't have him almost the last 5 or 6 years. So I think that's kind of irrelevant. Anyway, so I know the Eagles, I'm in Philadelphia, so they look like they might take a cornerback. Nate Wiggins is mentioned here on this one draft. A lot of people from Philadelphia might be listening to this because they're my friends, so I'll go over that. I don't know what the best choice for them. I always think a cornerback's a good pick unless you're loaded already, because you really, I mean, just every year it seems like there's more passing than the year before. So in the other one, CBS seems they're going to go after someone named Cooper DeJean, Iowa. So who knows? Who knows who's right? That's why they're called mock drafts, because they, I could mock them later if they got it wrong. Nate Wiggins plays for Clemson. So Buffalo. I mean, Cleveland does not have a first round pick. Rob, is that right? Cleveland does not have a first round pick.
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. They're well, like I said, I'm hopefully the Browns will do. We have a need for a linebacker, but I'm looking at it right now, and they're saying we're going to get a wide receiver out of. They want to have a wide receiver out of South Carolina, Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. They're picking him. They want him to be a wide receiver. I don't know about that. I mean, we could use a wide receiver, but I prefer to go for a linebacker.
So I'll mention the Buffalo Bills because I got friends in Rochester. They're going to want to hear about this, and they're a popular team, and they got a popular player, Josh Allen, and they traded Stephon Diggs, which I was not happy with, but he wasn't happy, for like a second round pick to Houston, who's going to be deadly this year because they got a great young quarterback. Be scary. And they also lost Gabe Davis too. So obviously they need running backs. I mean, obviously they need a receiver. And this one here, NFL thinks they're going to go after Xavier Worthy of Texas, who's coming out as a junior also. So I obviously that's a good idea to get a receiver when you lose two.
I think so.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that pick. I don't think anybody would. But the other one, CBS Sports thinks they're going to take a different receiver, Antonio Mitchell from Texas, who's 6'4", and they think he's going to pick him. So who knows who they're going to pick? Like I said, that's why I don't get too crazy over the mock draft. There's no way to know until they do it, and I'd rather just look at it and see who they picked and see how they do that year.
Yeah.
But that's the projection for them. It will be interesting to see what happened. Well, I guess we should talk about the Cowboys because they're America's team.
Why do we have to talk about them?
I'm just going to mention because they're popular. I don't think they're America's team. I think the Packers are.
They didn't ask me if it was America's team. They didn't poll me on that one.
So my friends call them the Cowgirls. I really don't resort to that name calling, but
I do. Plowboys.
They think CBS Sports thinks they're going to take Tyler Guyton, Guyton. He's an offensive tackle from Oklahoma. And so they think they're going to pick them because they need, Dallas is always, I thought Dallas, it's my understanding, I think Dallas already has a good offensive line. So
they did.
Maybe they lost. I don't follow them as closely as the Cowboys fans, obviously. So maybe they lost some offensive linemen to free agents.
I'm surprised they'd be picking offensive tackle since they lost their running back.
Right.
Since they lost Pollard.
so that was the pick. So I guess we'll see what happens. But the Dallas Cowboys, everyone says they're going to pick Graham Barton from Duke. So, so I guess they need an offensive line. I thought they had a good offensive line last year. So maybe they did lose to someone, I guess, the free agency, Tyler, but I can't pronounce his name. So it's Cowboys. You know, they just figured to hit a couple popular teams that go on there. I know Pittsburgh's got their quarterback problems somewhat solved. They got 2 quarterbacks now.
They're still gonna.
So I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback.
They're going to be behind my Browns, the Steelers.
So I'm not sure what the Steelers aren't going to draft a quarterback, but they're a popular team. That's why I mentioned it. And this one, they draft 20th. They think they're going to get a defensive tackle near Cooper DeJean. Pittsburgh going to pick that. So that's one possibility for Pittsburgh. They always go after defense a lot, just like the Packers. The Packers have picked first round like 13 out of 14 times. So they think they're going after a defensive back on that.
The Browns when the last time they had a first round draft choice, they did a good job with the defense with Garrett. So
and the CBS thinks they're going to pick an offensive tackle named Graham Barton from Duke. So it always helps when you got trying to get quarterbacks to learn the system and a new thing to have a good offensive line to give them more time since the whole system's new. So I think I can understand the logic behind that. So anyways, that's the quick overview of the NFL draft. It's I think it's at April 25th to the 27th or something like that. It's coming up. So I figured we'd go over that because I'm going on vacation. So anyway, if you're into that type of thing, have at it. Go watch it for all those 3 days. Or the first round's kind of interesting.
Yeah, tell us who
I'm not interested.
Tell us who your team and who they should draft. Just let us know.
Yeah, make some comments down below. See what you think about the mock drafts that you've seen. Mel Kiper's one was blocked because I'm not a member of the ESPN senior writer thing. You got to pay a fee or something like that. Anyways, but I don't even care because it's just, like I said, it's just all a guess. But he projected some major trades and things like that. And let me know if you have a favorite team. Tell me who you would draft and how you would handle it.
Right.
And what you think of the mock drafts that you see. And we'll see 10 years from now how good the drafts were. Yeah, I refuse to give them a grade afterwards. I refuse to be that illogical to me.
And by that time, Mark and I will still have no hair. So
we still have hair. Yeah. We got the no hair club here. And that's part of that's why we have a no hair channel.
Right.
So anyway, so you can make fun of us down below for having no hair, but if you're ugly, don't do that because just because you have hair doesn't mean you're not ugly. All right. So anyways, but thanks for listening. I ain't going more detail because like I said, I don't think it's a big deal, but we'll find out. Until next time, peace out. Oh, I stole Rob's piece. I stole Rob's thing.
Okay. Yeah. Peace out. Yeah. He's still my side. Yeah.